Welcome to the online worship here at St. Andrew United Church of Christ. If this is your first time visiting us online, we are glad to have you here for this worship series that we're doing these several weeks that's entitled Messages of Hope. And during Messages of Hope, I'm looking around our church building and finding messages of hope that are right here. And talking about messages of hope that are in your homes and in your relationships and out in nature itself, in the world that God created. Today's message is about why we don't really need words to pray to God. It can feel good to let go of the idea that our prayers have to be articulate or eloquent, and that we can embrace instead the thought that prayer is simply a communication of our hearts with God. And so welcome to all of you who are watching, members and guests. I want you to know that we have Sunday worship services available every Saturday night so that you can watch them whenever you choose to have be your Sabbath time, your Sunday morning time. And we also have a brief 4 to 5 minute weekday reflection that is posted each Wednesday on our YouTube channel as well. If you'd like to be on our email list and find out more about things that are coming out, please send an email request to the office email that is going to be posted at the end of this video. Welcome. Let us worship God together. For our opening prayer, I would like to share with you a modern-day psalm that was written by Edward Hayes in his book, Psalms for Zero Gravity. And the name of the psalm is called The Unsayable Psalm. Unspeakable one of endless ages, teach me how to speak that great forgotten wordless language, so my love can sing to you. Mere words cannot create a song whose melody captures heart and soul. Just as unsayable are you, Divine One, whose melody is the mystery that captivates my soul with love. May I be joyfully tongue-tied, beloved, to live my love as a wordless song to you. I wonder what it could mean for us if we did like Edward Hayes suggested in the psalm and lived our love as a wordless song and spoke a wordless language. What would that look like or sound like? We live in a society that loves words. Words are really important. They really are. We use words to express all kinds of emotions. We use words to affirm other people. We use words to hurt other people. And words and language change over time. And we learn that certain words and way of saying things has hurt people, and hopefully we listen to that and change our language. We judge people by the words that they use, whether they are articulate in their speaking, whether or not they have proper grammar, if they mispronounce words, like I just started to do, whether they have a large vocabulary. And when it comes to curse words, some people judge others because they use curse words, and others judge people because they won't use curse words. It's always baffled me that cursing for so many people is connected to religion. And so as a pastor, people are constantly apologizing to me when they curse in front of me. It's actually annoying that people assume that pastors, first of all, don't want to hear curse words, and second of all, that they don't curse themselves. I have to tell you, I really don't know very many pastors, self-included, who don't curse. And if there were very many who didn't curse before COVID-19, I guarantee you they've started now. At least I hope they have. Some people are really good with words, to the point that they can learn other languages and do so easily. Some people love word games and studying the origin of words, etymology of all the different words in our language. It's fascinating. Crossword puzzles are the thing that are most often touted as a way to keep an aging mind active. If you watch our Kentucky governor every night at 5, you'll see there's always a sign language interpreter on the screen with him, because his words are important and he wants everyone to be able to know what he's saying. So words are important. They are. And they are also unimportant sometimes, especially when it comes to prayer. And so today I invite you to enjoy the idea of not needing to find the right words to talk to God. I want you to feel a sense of relief that you can feel when being told that you don't even have to say anything to be in prayer. You don't have to find the right words to describe how you're feeling. You don't have to justify through words why you're anxious or sad or angry or happy or hopeful or not hopeful. You don't have to be articulate. You don't have to say anything or explain yourself at all, because God hears our wordless prayers. Listen to what Paul taught the Romans about this in chapter 8 of Romans. I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. We know that the whole creation has been groaning as in the pains of childbirth right up to the present time. We do not know what we ought to pray for, but the Spirit intercedes for us through wordless groans, with sighs too deep for words. And God, who searches our hearts, knows the mind of the Spirit, because the Spirit intercedes for God's people in accordance with the will of God. God's Spirit intercedes for us through wordless groans. I don't know about you, but the idea of sighing and groaning sounds kind of good right now. Perhaps more than ever before, with the kind of days that we're going through. Why not take a minute and see how good it can feel to sigh a big, loud sigh? Because you're either alone or you're among people who love you, so just do it and don't worry about how you sound. Take a deep, big sigh. Take another sigh. It might feel good, and it might help you release some emotion too. And it's scriptural that the Spirit intercedes with sighs too deep for words and with wordless groans. Now, maybe some people would tell me that I'm being too self-conscious to say this, but I just don't see how I can possibly do an authentic groan on this video. The sigh felt really natural and authentic. But to think of groaning right now, I think if I did, it would make you laugh. And of course, laughter is good, but not in that way. So I think I just need to let you do your own groaning. Really. I hope you will. And I will when I'm off camera. So imagine you're sighing and groaning as a prayer in which you're allowing God to intercede for you by searching your heart. You don't need words to pray. Today, I'm standing by the eternal flame in our sanctuary here at St. Andrew United Church of Christ. It's in the very back of our sanctuary, and so I'm guessing that some of you that are normally in worship every week forgot that it's even back here. And maybe some of you that are newer to our congregation never even saw it before, because we often come in a different door than where this is. But this is in the back of our sanctuary, and it's always lit. It's a reminder of God's ever-presence with us. A reminder of God's ever-presence, which means that we don't need well-thought-out prayers with articulate words to connect to God, because God's ever-present. Interceding to connect to us. And this is especially good news now, because it's hard to know what to pray for from day to day in this pandemic that's still so foreign to everything that we've ever known. If we pray just for ourselves, we start feeling like we should be praying for those who have it worse. And if we start praying for others, we feel like we've left some out. There's so many people to pray for in our city, and in our state, and in our country, and in countries all over the entire world. It's hard to know what to pray for each day. So what a hopeful message this eternal flame brings to us. A reminder that God is ever present, searching our hearts, hearing our prayers simply through connecting to our hearts. That God's hearing our prayers simply through our deep sighs when we can't find the right words to pray. There are eternal flames lit in places of worship all over the world right now. Can you try to picture that in your mind a bit? eternal flames in places of worship all over the entire world right now. There are eternal flames also lit in some cemeteries, and they're lit at some different kinds of memorials, monuments. And did you know that there are even some natural eternal flames? There are a number of places in the world where there's a pocket of natural gas, kind of enclosed within some rock. There's a pocket of natural gas, and it's a place where the rocks are so hot that this flame that has started in this natural gas pocket, it stays lit. It's an eternal flame that's natural. There's a number of places throughout the world where there is that pocket of gas that's lit because the rocks are so hot. Ancient and super hot pieces of shale often, and so the heat in the gas causes a flame. Places like that all over the world. Isn't that an awesome image? A natural, eternal flame? One of those natural, eternal flames is found in a place called the Eternal Flame Falls. It's a small waterfall in the Shale Creek Preserve. There's a small chamber that you can see under the waterfall that produces natural gas, and it keeps the flame alit. The Eternal Flame Falls, it's located in New York, a state that is especially deeply in need of that image, that message of hope right now. It's a message of hope that's here in our sanctuary, but it's a message of hope that's in many places throughout the world. It's a message of hope that's naturally in New York City. And so here is a prayer practice that you can begin anytime you want. It's probably not a good idea to keep an eternal flame lit in your home, but you can choose a candle that you will name your eternal flame, and when you light it, you can remember this eternal flame in our sanctuary. And you can remember the natural eternal flame in New York. And then imagine all the flames that are lit in prayer throughout the world. And remember these words from the 8th chapter of Romans. We know that the whole creation has been groaning as in the pains of childbirth right up to the present time. We do not know what we ought to pray for, but the Spirit intercedes for us through wordless groans, with sighs too deep for words. Light your candle and gaze at the light and sigh or groan as loudly as you want to. Feel it moving through your whole body. And then just sit and allow God's Spirit to intercede for you. Because you can pray a wordless prayer just like that, and know that God is with you. Always. For eternity. Thanks be to God. Amen.
My words are still and lifeless as dust upon the sand. I can no longer voice one request or one demand. My cup of tears is empty, I can no longer cry. Speak in tones unknown to man, that God may hear and understand. My voice is weak from calling to you both night and day. How long will you be silent? Why do you turn away? Spirit, come and rest your ear upon my heart. Oh, come and hear my wordless prayer, my silent plea, and take them far away from me. Take them from this heart of mine to the Father's heart divine. Speak in tones unknown to man, that God may hear and understand. Spirit, come and rest your ear upon my heart. Oh, come and hear my wordless prayer, my silent plea, and take them far away from me. Take them